All right, well, we had some chaos, just an incredible upset victory. One team nothing to play for, the other team everything to play for, so of course the team with nothing to play for would win. The first thing I want to talk about in this was, hey, we saw some competent and even at times really good Trevor Lawrence play. I'm not going to break down too much of it because I think the more interesting story is kind of the Colts' failures, especially on offense. That's what I'm more fascinated by, but of course, got to give Trevor Lawrence some love here as he, definitely ending the season with a high note for sure. So what's happening on this play, quite frankly, a lot of this stuff kind of reminded me a little bit of how the Jets were able to really have a lot of success against this Colts defense. It's kind of a similar idea, which is like, listen, take what the defense gives you. Take this underneath stuff. They'll give you yards if you're patient, although just because that's what the defense is giving you doesn't always mean it's easy to get either. That's kind of one of those things where just because that's what typically the way you should attack a defense, defenses know that and can counteract it. And here's what I'm trying to say. So you see the route that's going to get into a gap in coverage, but the Colts know where the gaps in their coverage are. Watch how right when this play begins, I mean, you see that a Indianapolis player is reading this play and trying to get over there. And this is where arm strength comes into play. A lot of people just think arm strength when they think throwing the ball down the field. That's actually only a small part of it. A big part of it is this type of stuff of you got to get it to your player quickly. And this is, listen, I'm a big Gardner Minshew fan. Gardner Minshew is not able to make the plays like this consistently, whereas someone like Trevor Lawrence can. Watch Lawrence just, really good throw, and you're able to pick up the first down on 3rd down and 12. So that's just one example, but some really good stuff from T-Law there, and, he was doing that stuff all game, really. So that's cool to see him kind of, start to put it together. You got to give these young players time. Very cool to see for Lawrence, although for maybe not so cool if you're a Colts fan. Here's a lot of, I think one of the issues with the Colts was that really these Jaguar linebackers played fantastic in this one. And everyone's going to say, wow, the Colts choked. They collapsed. They lost to Jacksonville. What are they doing? And listen, I get that. The flip side, of course, is that Jacksonville beat Indianapolis, right? It goes both ways. And on this play, it's a 4th down and 2. I like this play call. And I think that, sometimes you would say, you're playing a bad team, just sort of, play conservative here. But I think especially after that first drive, Indianapolis was like, okay, Jacksonville's here to play. We're going to take them seriously. Analytics say to go for it here. You're kind of in no man's land where you're not getting that much by punting, so might as well just go for it. I like this stuff. Some people are going to hate it, but I'm a fan of it. But the main thing to watch is that, kind of the more difficult blocks are going to be to the linebackers who have to cover up the gaps that Taylor wants to run through. So what I really want you to watch when this play begins is just watch how quickly the linebackers move up to stop the run. And again, it's 4th and 2, so they know a run could be coming. As you see, Wentz is going to, hand it off, and you just see how those linebackers just immediately get there and get in position to basically give Taylor nowhere to go. He doesn't gain any yards on that play. So again, you're guessing basically. That's what Jacksonville did a lot of, is just guessing, of just saying, I think this is what you're doing, so that's what I'm going to try and do to counteract it. Like this one is going to be another one right here. So what's going to happen on this play is that it's a zone coverage play. Again, this is what a lot of what Jacksonville is doing is they're playing zone. So what do you want to do if you're Indianapolis? Well, they're clearly spending a lot of energy to stop Jonathan Taylor. So maybe run some play actions. I feel like Indianapolis did not run enough play actions to Jonathan Taylor. This one is a play action, but it's a jet sweep, sort of a fake jet sweep, basically, where they're faking as though they're going to hand it off to the receiver who's in motion, but then you're throwing it to the left. But that's not really that difficult to defend because for Jacksonville, they're kind of saying, listen, if it's a handoff to the right, I'm not really getting over there anyway, so I'm just going to play it out as though it isn't. Because the way this concept is then supposed to work is with a receiver running deep, that pushes the corner who's deep further back, and then there's an opening over the middle. I'm not saying these plays can't work. They certainly can, but Jacksonville, again, they're making the correct reads because watch the linebackers here. As you see, they're barely going to move in at all, and then they get back into coverage. So just making those reads and making those reads quickly. So this way, you see it in that circle, that's the receiver that Wentz wants to throw to, his tight end. But 54 right there, Wilson for Jacksonville, he's just playing this well, and he knows the concept. What I'm going to guess happens here, and it's off screen, but I feel pretty confident in this guess actually, is I think what's going to happen is the linebacker is going to turn his back to Wentz, but then get his back turned again when he ends up catching the ball. Watch. I think when he turned his back, Wentz then threw it, but then he just said, hey, around here is when you're going to throw the ball, so that's when I'm going to catch the ball. Again, that's a guess. It's possible he was looking back the whole way, but I don't think he would have gotten over there if he was looking back the whole way. So just kind of a good defensive play of saying around now is when you'll probably turn your head back. So around now is when you'll probably throw the football. So therefore, I will turn my head back, get the interception there. I know people are going to crush Wentz, but I actually don't hate that decision, assuming my read on it is correct. It was just a really good defensive play. Sometimes you got to give defenders credit. I mean, listen, I don't love the decision either. I'm just saying I understand it. We then have something like this where, so it's a first down and 10 here. This is another good example of just kind of, Jacksonville just really outsmarted Indianapolis. There were just plays where I'm like, that's not talent that's causing this to happen. That's playing smarter, where what's going to happen is this is not a running play, it's a passing play, and the way that you typically pass block is you block from the inside out, meaning that for Indianapolis, they actually have an extra player who's going to be chipping the edge rusher to the offense's right. So therefore, basically, you have a wide receiver and tight end. They're taking away the edge rusher. The tackle is the main guy to watch here, as he's going to end up blocking the interior defensive lineman. I kind of feel like, again, I don't know the play call. Maybe someone else's responsibility was for this, and it just didn't work out. But I kind of feel like the tackle has to notice when there's a blitz coming. Watch. He never even picks his head up, never realizes this. And is this on Wentz? Is this on a tackle? You can be the judge. It's also a good blitz, again, by Wilson, having a hell of a day, so good job by him. But personally, I do kind of feel like this is one of those plays, too, where there should have been a way to prevent this. This should have been a preventable play. Instead, he's able to get straight through for Wentz, who also does a horrible job of protecting the football, which this has been a criticism of Wentz for a while. I mean, he saw that pressure coming. You have to be able to protect the football. You have to be able to hold on in this moment. A sack isn't the end of the world. Losing that football really hurts you. So that's a tough one from Carson Wentz. So again, stuff like that, just not great. You end up losing the football and giving them the ball in field goal range there. So just mistakes, too many mistakes for Indianapolis. So yeah, I mean, listen, first off, in a season from hell for someone like Trevor Lawrence, getting to play well and win a football game to end it is a good feeling, and it's a good start and kind of makes you feel a lot better heading into next season. It's something you can build off of if you're a believer in that. From the Colts' perspective, I can't see this as anything other than a complete blown opportunity and just a kind of a disappointing and very devastating loss right here. I mean, quite frankly, you don't deserve to make the playoffs losing this football game. You don't. You got to be able to beat Jacksonville. And everyone has bad losses on their resume, but this is now, easily just a really deflating loss for them, I think. So yeah, I mean, it's clearly disappointing if you're a Colts fan. So even regardless of what happens from here on out, you gotta win this football game. So we'll see what happens the rest of the way. Gonna make videos breaking down every impactful game from here on out. So maybe not full film studies, but at least videos in some capacity for each of these important games. So yeah, let me know what you guys thought of this game in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.